All right, Suron Segway owners, I'm super excited to get this 219 lower gearing kit installed into my 2018 Suron. The reason why I'm doing this is simply for the lower gearing. As you can see, I already have the 64T sprocket, and I really want this thing to be able to climb a vertical, just crawl up vertical. And with the pedal kit and this bike more emulating a mountain bike than a dirt bike, it's just gonna benefit my style of riding. So I know a lot of people are concerned about top speed, but the things that concern me the most about this is really, climbing and taking the load off the motor, and compliance as well as weight. So this may add a little bit of weight, but not too concerned about it. Have I had issues with the belt kit? No, I haven't. Or with the primary belt? No, and I ran it for like a year and a half at 72 volts with a top speed of over 70, and I've never had issues with it commuting with it. So do you need to do it? No, but having that gearing option is pretty awesome. I often tell people who do go 72 volts to go with the biggest sprocket they can possibly get in the rear, because there's really no reason to be hitting 80 miles per hour with the stock gearing. And just take a load off the motor and just transfer the usable power band into a lower speed where you're just going to be making more use of that power. So yeah, this install has been documented elsewhere on YouTube. You guys can probably find videos on that. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this going. My recommendation is to loosen things while the bike's still on the ground, like the swing arm nut, the axle nut, and the pulley nut on the other side. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then maybe take a break and add some more updates, see if I run into any issues. With the swing arm nut, I'm going to be using the needle nose plier technique or the hammer and screwdriver technique. I don't have the tool for it. If I damage that nut beyond repair, I'll just get a nylock M10 by 1 nut and just use a regular nut on that. All right, super excited. Things I don't like about this is, you got to stack up 2 to make 1. This looks like just regular white lithium grease, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Pardon the noise from the washing machine. So I ended up using the hammer method to just get it loose. I initially started off with using the needle nose pliers, and then I ended up getting some scratches. The hammer method, I did ding it up a little bit, but I mean, this bike is old, and yeah, I don't think I made it look any worse than it is, but I highly invest in actually getting the proper tool to remove this, especially if you don't want to ding up the bike at all. So I'm curious if there's a washer on here or not. Okay, yeah, there is a washer, so probably just get the nylock nut of the same size, or just a regular nut. Should be an M10 by 1.0, and then maybe just run some Vibratite on there, and then mark the bolt to make sure it doesn't back out. So yeah, that was pretty rough. So I'll go ahead and take off the nut on the other side, and for that I actually borrowed a friend's electric impact gun, a DeWalt, so that should work pretty well. Gonna use it on here too, so that should make life a little bit easier. All right, so the swing arm's off. That wasn't that difficult. I mean, as long as you hit all the bolts, it's good to go. Getting the belt off, I actually loosened the motor bolts to take the belt off. A lot of people use a crank puller on this, or a not crank puller, but a gear puller, but mine was already pretty loose, so that's cool, I guess. So this should be pretty simple, but what I'm gonna do before I start assembling everything is I really need to clean everything up. I mean, it's pretty gross. I mean, I haven't cleaned it for literally like over 2 years, 2.5 years. So yeah, that sprocket's from the Kaniwaba pedal kit. I just took the chain off. It was pretty easy. So I'm gonna have to take this pulley off, and yeah, so I mean, a lot of people put it inside a vise or run the chain along here and then step on the chain. To untorque those, I'll just use the impact gun. Oh wow, look at that. There's some damage on that. I wonder how that happened. Probably a rock. All right, so let's go ahead and take this further apart, then I'll brush everything out and try to relube everything. All right guys, as I'm waiting for my Vibratite to dry and those bolts, just taking a look at my belt. I mean, this belt's got over 10,000 miles on it, half of that at 72 volts commuting. And this is the OEM belt. It's actually pretty good. I know some people who are really romping on it and they're shredding these belts. So, I mean, yeah, the way you ride is definitely gonna affect the longevity of your gear. So, yeah, I actually bought a replacement belt because I thought this one wasn't gonna last. Using the G&G mid-drive kit, I would strip belts at 1,000 watts. So yeah, this held up pretty well for as long as it did. I mean, if you're riding moderately, it probably will last the life of the bike. But yeah, if you're riding, you know, pretty rough, even at stock power, you can destroy these things. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. So this primary Drive 219 kit, just keep in mind that it comes with 2 sprockets that you got to stack on top of each other. Make sure the little beveled edge on the sprockets are outward and not inward before you put it together. And the same is going to apply for the small pulley as well. Well, I got everything back in. I can't torque down the motor or tighten the chain because the little ratcheting device is getting blocked by the bash guard. So I'm gonna have to put everything back together, take off the bash guard, and then adjust the tension on this chain. So not too bad. It took me about an hour to get this far, so I'll probably be wrapping things up in about 30 minutes. I'm guessing, yeah, it's gonna be about a 2-hour install if you don't have to deal with using if you have all the right tools, then yeah, for sure under 2 hours. But if you try to kind of wing it like I did, then it might take a little bit longer. I was lucky that my pulley came off without having to use a special tool. I would have to drive out for that. And then I will have to get a replacement swing arm nut because I kind of destroyed the last one. And I'm not comfortable using it. I might have an extra M10 nut in the garage that I might use in the meantime, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how this looks once I get the tension correct on this chain. But I can't move this. I can't move this little ratcheting tension mechanism because my bash is in the way. Well, that was pretty rough, but I got through it. Started at around 9, it's 10:32, getting everything back together. Still need to torque down some stuff. There's some white lithium grease on this chain, which is kind of nice. The tension is like maxed out just to take out the slack on that chain. But let's see how it sounds real quick. Just run it at a really low speed. Man, that is pretty quiet. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten most of the stuff down. Again, my swing arm nut, I gotta find a replacement. Put it in backwards for a little bit. I'm not gonna torque it down at all because I just wanna make sure I can get it off and replace it. All right, so a ride video should be coming up shortly. Have a good one, everyone.